So last chapter, Joey actually swallowed his key. The principal was showing him a special ed room where he could learn to calm down and maybe make some better choices. So far, not working. Chapter 5 is called Make a Wish. Before bed, Mom had given me a couple spoonfuls of mineral oil. The next morning, nature took its course. I was sitting on the toilet with my new bedroom slippers on when I heard splash clunk as the key fell out of my butt and hit the porcelain bowl. I put on my mom's rubber cleaning gloves, crammed some toilet paper up my nose, took a swampy breath through my mouth, and fished it out. Ew. It was nasty, but the key looked the same after I washed it off. At school, I walked into class with my hands clasped together up over my head like the world wrestling champion of the universe. I pooped it out! I yelled. Seth Justman cheered. Did you save it? He asked. What do you think, that I'd throw it away? I pulled it up from the new string around my neck. Same key. Want a sniff? Oh. Do it, Seth shouted, and instantly the class began shouting along with him. Mrs. Maxey was busy down the hall with Mrs. Deebs organizing our field trip. I was so excited I forgot to ask for money, and I put the key in my mouth and swallowed. Ew! Oh, everyone groaned, but they loved it. Gross, Seth swallowed. You swallowed a turd-flavored key. Ooh. Then I slowly pulled it up as if there was a drum roll in the air. It was kind of hard coming because my throat was scraped up, and when I got it all the way out, I saw why. I'd eaten a bowl of cold spaghetti for breakfast, and the strands were dangling off the head of the key like tiny octopus legs. I bounced it up and down for everyone to see, and they squealed so loud Mrs. Maxey came flying in. I knew it would have to be you, she said, wagging her finger at me as she turned the corner and saw my catch. Now go down to the nurse and clean your face and mouth, and bring me that key. Nurse Holyfield listened to what I had done and then gave me a little paper cup with some mouthwash that tasted like the stuff my mom drinks. I'd have made $1 million, she said, if I could figure out a way to put an on-off switch on guys like you. Want to touch my key? I asked and held it up. Did you take your medicine today? She asked in return. Can I get back to you on that? I asked. I think I already know the answer, she said, giving me a disapproving look. You can't take them only when you feel like it, she said. She sent me to the bathroom to wash up. I know that, I sputtered, but Mom forgot. We can give them to you here, the nurse said. I have kids lining up for medication every day. No way. Mom said no one is ever to give me medicine but her. And make sure you take it, she stressed. Do the right things for yourself. I am. I'm washing my face. When I looked up at her, she was shaking her head. You better get back to class, she said, and handed me a paper towel. You're a smart boy, and you'll fall behind if you don't keep up at your work. How smart am I asked. Smart enough to know how to press my buttons, she said. Now scoot. Mrs. Maxey had cleared a spot on her bulletin board, and I gave her the key she thumbtacked to with a cork. Every morning your key goes up here, she said, and every afternoon you can pick it up here. Now, do you know why I'm doing this? She asked. Can I get back to you on that? I said, okay, wise guy, that's enough smart talk for one day. Now go downstairs and see Mrs. Howard for a focus session. If you calm down, you can join your class after lunch for math drills. See you later, alligators, I said to the class. I grabbed my ruler and walked out of the room backwards like I was sword fighting an entire army. And I stayed walking backwards, stabbing and slapping the lockers all the way down to Mrs. Howard's dungeon. I'm back, I said when I pushed open the door with my butt. Mrs. Howard was setting frosted cupcakes on everyone's desks. Oh, how nice to see you, Joey, she replied and gave me a big smile. You're just in time for Harold's birthday party. I love parties, I said right back, and waved to all the moms. They smiled at me and waved. I knew they would like me once they got to know me. Everyone does. Can I help you? I asked. Yes, said Mrs. Howard. She pointed to a stack of rainbow party hats. You can pass those out. The kids who could put on their own hats I left to themselves, but the ones who couldn't move so well, I helped until we all, even the moms and Mrs. Howard and me, were wearing party hats, and we sang a very crazy happy birthday to Harold, who was in a neck brace and couldn't blow out his own candle. Mrs. Howard held the candle an inch from his mouth, and he jerked his head back and forth and kept spitting little bubbles. But the flame hung in there, and we were gathered around in a circle, and everyone was pulling for him like the candle was a fuse on a bomb, and we were all going to be blown to shreds if he didn't put it out. Harold kept trying, and still he had no wind in him, just those little bubbles. And the candle was getting shorter and shorter, and whatever it was he wished for was not going to come true, but just sputter out in the blue icing. I looked into his face as hard as I could, and it was like I heard him screaming on the inside, "Come on, don't just stand there, do it, do something." I looked around at the adults, and they were all leaning forward, but were frozen as if they didn't know what to do next. But I did, which meant it was up to me. Everyone wanted that candle blown out, so I stepped forward, took a big breath, and when I let it out, I made Harold's wish come true, and thought maybe now there's a pot of gold under that tilted rainbow hat. Everyone gasped and looked at me as if I had just stabbed Harold. But I had done him a favor. "I helped you get your wish," I said to him, and he jerked his head around like a robot, and I could tell he was happy. "See," I said to everyone as I pointed at Harold's mouth, "he's smiling because I helped him out." That's exactly when Mrs. Howard took my hand and led me across the room. "I think you need to settle down for a minute." She made me sit in a big quiet chair and read a book that couldn't be read because when I looked at the letters they kept sliding off the page like drops of mercury when you smash open a thermometer, which is something I know about. I kept asking for a cupcake, but Mrs. Howard said, "The last thing you need is sugar," and she gave me a carrot. "What's up, Doc?" I said to her and chewed the carrot really loudly with my mouth open. But she didn't answer because just then Mrs. Jarzab opened the door and brought in a scary-looking new kid who she said had come to our class from a school that didn't have their own special room. So we're going to stop there again in the middle of the chapter. So Joey, he's doing things that he thinks are okay and helpful, right? He thought he was doing a favor for this boy who wasn't able to blow out his own candle. But people were taking it the wrong way. What do you think's going to happen next?